This video will show you how to replace the front strut assembly on a Pontiac Grand Prix. This is part of the front steering and suspension located behind your front wheel. Let's get into it. A quick note about replacing this part: when you do them as a pair, and when you're done, you make sure you get yourself a four-wheel alignment. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. The first thing we have to do is safely raise and support the front end of the vehicle so the wheel's off the ground. After that, remove all 5 of your 19mm lug nuts and we can get the wheel off of here. Now that we have the wheel off, we have a clear view of our front strut assembly. Let's start at the area where our sway bar link connects. Now to dislodge this, we're going to be using a 16mm for our mounting nut. When you go to loosen this, you may find that the sway bar link stud spins. To help prevent that, you can use a 7mm socket on the far end there. You may find that you have to use locking pliers along the back side of the strut mount here. We're going to hold on to that sway bar link stud, preventing it from turning, and we can continue removing this mounting nut. Continue with my 16mm. Now we can separate that front sway bar link from the strut. A thorough inspection of the sway bar link to confirm there's no damage. Now moving along from the sway bar link, we can see our front brake rotor. In the center of this area, we have our axle shaft and our axle nut. We're using a 34mm to remove the axle nut. After that, a hammer and punch directly in the center of the axle. We want to try to break this free from the wheel bearing hub located behind it. Once we do have movement, we can continue on. We have our punch directly in the center. Okay. We have some movement. Let's continue on up in this area. So now as we look in this area, we want to start removing the hardware holding our front knuckle to the front strut assembly. You're going to find, as far as this hardware is concerned, the mounting bolts have splines which go into the knuckle. On the rearward side, we have a 21mm mounting nut. We don't have to hold the bolt heads. Go ahead and remove the mounting nut. Once you have it off of there, just go ahead and start it back on a couple threads. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for the next. Now we're going to be using a hammer. We'll tap the hardware out forward towards this area. We have the mounting nut in place so it does not fall out and potentially hurt us. Let's move along to the next. Now at this point, we can start removing the hardware. As we do so, we're going to be pulling the knuckle out and away. While we pull it away, just be aware so you don't get hurt, but we also want to make sure we do not cause damage to the axle when we pull it away. This is why we remove the axle nut. We can pull the knuckle away, but press the axle in and through. It only needs to come out far enough that we can dislodge that front strut from the knuckle. Both pieces of hardware will look the same. You do not need to worry about mixing them up. We have this separated. We can pause inside of the wheel well. Let's make our way up inside the engine compartment. Up inside the engine compartment, we're looking along the top of the strut tower. One thing we'll note is we are not touching this center mounting nut. Do not loosen this nut. We're only paying attention to these 3 15mm headed mounting nuts. As for the first mounting nut, I'm going to fully remove it. I'll give it a quick inspection, but start it back on a couple threads. After that, I'm continuing on to the next 2. Once I have both of those out, I'm going to have to reach inside of the fender well. I'm taking hold of the front strut. While holding that, I'll be removing that mounting nut that we left loose. Now I'll unthread that last mounting nut. There it is, friend. Prior to installing a brand new part, of course, we want to make sure we clean and inspect our mounting area. I'm starting up along the hood here. We want to pay attention along the strut tower. I'm just going to use a wire brush for this. Double check, make sure nothing's rotted or damaged. Now we're down at the front steering knuckle. We'll clean this down as well. Now it's time to install the brand new front strut assembly. We're coming in through the front wheel well. Now we are leaving these loose for now. Let's make our way back inside the front wheel well. Now as we make our way inside this area, we're going to reattach the front steering knuckle to that front strut assembly. So we'll have to bring it out, slide it into this area, then we have each one of our 2 mounting bolts. These will come through from the front towards the rear. We'll tap them into position, then start on that hardware. Once you have the hardware started on, snug it up and then torque it to 89 foot-pounds. Let's make sure we secure the sway bar link to the front strut assembly. Line it up, press it through the port. We'll start on the mounting nut. Snug it up, the torque for this is 44 foot-pounds. Now we're focusing in the center of the brake rotor. We need to reinstall our axle nut. When you go to install the axle nut and attempt to tighten it, you may find that this wants to turn on you. To help prevent that from turning, you can use a small screwdriver. We'll make our way inside the cooling fins of the brake rotor and rest it up against our brake caliper. Now let's continue on with the axle nut. When we go to install this, we're going to start it on by hand and use a hand tool to tighten it. Do not use an impact tool. You could cause damage to the bearing. Now I'm going to torque it to 118 foot-pounds. Now one last quick inspection in this area and we can reinstall our front wheel. Let's reinstall our wheel. Start on all 5 of your 19mm lug nuts. Once you have them all started on, snug them up. We'll get the wheel back on the ground and then torque each lug nut to 100 foot-pounds. Now that I have the wheel back on the ground, I'm going to be torquing each one of my lug nuts to that 100 foot-pounds in a crisscross manner. Okay, let's make our way back up under the hood. Now we're under the hood, we have the full weight of the vehicle back on the ground, we can tighten each one of our mounting nuts. The torque for each of these is 24 foot-pounds. Okay friend, we showed you the installation of one of the vehicle's front strut assemblies. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the process for one is the exact same thing as the other, and of course you do them as a pair. After you're done, take your vehicle for a road test to your local alignment shop. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.